Oi, oi, all right, all right. How's it going? I'm Grant, you're you. This is the Doodle Review coming through with a new album to give a spin, chat some fruff about, and then assign an arbitrary score to. Today, it's the turn of the Cribs, first new album of 2026. It's a pretty friggin' good one as well. Before we get into it, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you about our newsletter. It's a weekly email newsletter that goes out once a week, every Friday, documenting my thoughts on a bunch of albums, smaller artists, different genres, the sort of stuff that you wouldn't necessarily get on the main YouTube feed. So if that sounds decent, go and find the link. It's down there in the description. Sign up, join our community. It's pretty big at this point. So would love to see you down there. All right, let's without further ado get into the main thing. Being a fan of a band is often a retrospective exercise. Even if they're still active in the present, there's usually a greater span of time before the point at which you became a fan than after. So, in those rare instances, you get on board with a band early, go on to have a long career, the relationship becomes a special one. Each album marks the passage of time in your life, and every major release punches a new chapter into your story. There are a handful of bands I have that kind of relationship with, but in the case of the Cribs, it's even more distinct because my love for them is shared with a few good close mates of mine. We agree on a lot of different bands, some of which, like individuals among us, might actually enjoy more than the Cribs. But for some reason, about 15 or so years ago, we made the Cribs our band. Whenever they're on tour, whenever they play a festival or do a one-off, our group will be there. Sometimes it's like the whole lot of us, other times it's smaller factions that will go and like then report back. But it's become at this stage not just an opportunity to see the Jarmans rip through some anthemic indie punk, but for us to get a few beers in and hang out. And as a result, I've seen the Brothers Jarman live probably more than any other act at this point. If I had to guess, I'd be nearing, if not over the 20 show mark at this point. And that'll be rookie numbers to some fans out there, such as the devotion to the Cribs. But banging times nonetheless. Been so many highlights over the years. Reading Festival 2011, when I don't know who did this, but they came on after Mastodon. Glastonbury 2015, when some chemical enhancement combined with mirror kisses gave me like one of the purest hits of euphoria I've ever felt. Going to Millennium Square in Leeds in 2016, which was a mega night, getting soaked in beer at ULU in 2017. Random acoustic set in Kingston Town Square, followed by a hippodrome set that was so rowdy I got carried out on a crowd surfing trip by the end of it. Three albums back to back, 2022. And then most recently getting to see them play twice in Chicago, a small show and then at Riot Fest. I've screamed and lost my voice to the lyrics of Men's Needs, Another Number, Different Angle, Hayseedsters, Come On Be a No One, Be Safe, dozens of times at this point. And almost all of those moments are wrapped in a memory that feature some of my best mates, which is quality. So hopefully all of that gives you some sense as to why I'm always excited when a new Cribs album comes out. It's always an event. The three brothers from Yorkshire, the twin frontmen Ryan and Gary on guitar and bass, respectively, and younger brother Ross on drums, they last dropped a record in 2020. And well, actually, I didn't really like it. For the first time ever, the trio dropped a record that just didn't hit for me. Night Network was a complete 180 from the rough and ready, but unfortunately titled 24/7 Rockstar shit. And that's totally cool. Those pivots are great. They previously followed up the Steve Albini produced grungy In the Belly of the Brazen Bull with the synth heavy power pop leaning Rick Ocasek produced For All My Sisters, and that was a pivot that was great. Sadly, though, the flip from lo-fi indie punk to a more melodic, chordal, and vocal-led sound on Night Network just didn't pan out. I've heard a number of those tunes live since the record's release, and they work really well. But I think perhaps the lack of an external producer on the record itself left the band without an objective voice to help maybe craft the sound that they were going for. This time around, for Ninth Record Selling a Vibe, the band have decided not to repeat that previous approach and instead sought out the production insight of Patrick Wimberly. Having worked with the likes of Caroline Polachek, MGMT, and Blood Orange, all of whom channel an alternative sensibility through pop aesthetics, Wimberly would seem like the perfect person to better frame the Cribs' desire to push their unique songwriting into a more melodic zone without actually dampening their inherent fire. Whether it's 100% down to Wimberly, or if it's a better batch of songs, or just the Jarmans being in a different headspace to where they were on the last one. It's hard to say what the reason is, but whatever it is, it's worked. Much to my delight, Selling a Vibe is the Cribs back on form. The album opens with Dark Luck, a punchy track driven by a staccato chord structure that allows the often overlooked Jarman Ross a chance to shine, filling in the rhythmic gaps left by the guitars with catchy drum lines. His fills here play like the riffs we're so accustomed to hearing from his older brothers. Never the Same offers quite a classic British indie sound for the Cribs, and it's a sound they've not really worn for a good long while. It's performed here with enough confidence that it kind of outweighs the standard chord progression and makes for a fun cap to the LP's first third. If Our Paths Never Crossed feels like the band really pushing themselves into new territory and completely pulling it off. The band lean into their love of Queen here by leveraging falsetto to create an undeniable chorus hook and one it's kind of hard to imagine the band of the mid to late 2000s even attempting, let alone landing. Self Respect is a fantastic ode to the band's stridently held ideals, and I love the tension of the verse vocal over an almost funky chukka chukka guitar and intricate bass line from Gary. Some experiments don't entirely land. For instance, there's what sounds like a Pavarotti sample on You'll Tell Me Anything, but it's a fun and interesting quirk for the record and doesn't do any harm by any stretch. A little bit of steam, I think, runs out by the final third of the LP. I'm particularly finding Rose Mist and Distractions to be a little forgettable, but overall, I've really enjoyed Selling a Vibe. This feels like everything Night Network was supposed to be, and also kind of sets the band up to do more in this kind of space. But who knows? They could just change it all up again, and I would be here for that as well. I would give this a 7.5. Let me know what you think. Any big Cribs fans in the audience there, just drop a note in the comments. I would love to hear what you think of this and maybe what your favorite Cribs album is and maybe what your favorite Cribs live moment is because there's a ton of them out there and they are always on the road. As I said up top, if you're into these sorts of reviews and maybe you think, oh, yeah, I actually like the points raised here, but I just don't really like the messenger, would like to read them, not have to watch this idiot talk them through, sign up to the newsletter. Links down there in the description. Get on it, get amongst it. Every Friday, new issue comes out, five or so albums reviewed. And yeah, be a good time. We'd love to see you there. All right, that's it. Gonna knock it on the head. But I hope you take care of yourself and I will see you next time. Cheers, mate. Bye.